Alright, you guys are ready for our first online class. So as always, in all of the classes to come, we're going to start in our usual seated position. So jump down in that. You don't need any props like I mentioned, just yourself. Get comfortable. I have some soft music playing in the background, so you may not need anything there, but however, if you want to pop something on, go for it. Other than that, let's begin. I want you to close off the eyes, start to fade away any distractions, whether it be your thoughts, external noises. Notice your body and mind here. Take a big breath in when you can, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, drop the shoulders down. Take a few long breaths like that. Slowing everything down. Not just the body and the mind, but the nervous system. Check in with how everything's going within and without. Take one more breath here. And when you're ready, you can gently open the eyes if you wish. You can keep them closed if you like. Let's take a big reach. Inhale, wide reach. Exhale, twist your right hand side, grounding the right fingertips behind you and the left fingertips to your right knee. Overlooking that right shoulder as well. Close off the eyes once you're here. Taking some long breaths. Breathing into the twists. Know that our intention this week is on Asana. And Asana is a pose or a seat. It's exactly what we're doing right now. There's a whole lot more to just this seated pose though. Bringing in mindfulness, breath, and awareness of the physical body. Let's inhale, unwind, take a wide reach up high. Exhale to your left. You're just using your hands gently here to twist you around. Looking over that left shoulder, finding your breath. Notice that it's just the fingertips that are grounding behind you, not leaning back and resting into it. Use your core and posture here. Notice how it feels on the spine today. Lengthen the breath whenever you can remember to. And take one more long breath here. Long breath is about 5 seconds on the inhale. Hold it at the top for a second and exhale for 5 as well. If it's shorter than that, don't worry. Inhale, unwind, take a big wide reach. Exhale, right hand comes to the right side. Lean over with your left arm rather, and allow that right elbow to start to drop down. So we don't want to be shrugging the shoulder up near the ear. Drop the elbow and shoulder down, gazing in front of you, or maybe upwards if that suits you. Take just one more breath here, getting a nice stretch through the side body. Let's inhale, push into the hand, rise up. Exhale to your left. Same thing, gazing maybe in front or upwards, dropping the shoulder and elbow down, finding your breath. Know that it's a little harder to breathe deeply through these side postures, so do your best. No less, no more. One more breath here. Inhale to rise up. Reach both hands up high. Exhale the hands down through heart center. Beautiful. Let's meet on all fours, which is what we call tabletop. So So once you're on all fours, align your hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, about hip width apart. Toes can be tucked or untucked here, whatever feels good for you. Cat-cow. When you're ready, inhale, drop the belly button down, lift the chest and chin high. Exhale, push really hard into the hands, like you're pushing yourself off the ground as you tuck the chin round the back. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest and chin, cow. Exhale, cat. Keep flowing through, in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. One more each way. Inhale to a neutral spine, and then sit your hips back onto your untucked feet. From the knees then, just keep them about hip width apart, and then walk your arms right out long to the top of your mat, reaching out. Spread the fingers so they're about shoulder width apart. Look down to your mat and you want to place your head on the ground. Now if you can't rest your head on the ground, stack your hands into fists like so, and rest your head on those hands like that. So, holding this pose, this asana, and breathing through it. Sitting long, mindful breath. What we're trying to do here is lengthen through the spine. So think of grounding your hips towards your heels, but all the same reaching your fingertips towards the top of your mat. Take one more breath here. Make sure it's a long one. If it's a short one, take another. When you're ready, inhale, rise back up onto the hands and knees. Keep the hands where they are. Tuck the toes hip width apart. Exhale, lead the hips up to a downward facing dog. We want to bend through the knees here. Drop the chest down, but don't really let it cave down. Keep the core active. So with the knees bent, you're welcome to pedal out a little with the heels, getting a nice stretch through the hamstrings, through the calves and the Achilles. If this gets too much at all, just come back down into that child's pose that we were just in. Before we move any further, I want to make sure that we get this downward facing dog right. So knees bent for everyone. I want you to look towards your hands, fingertips spread out wide, and make sure that they're shoulder width apart. All good there. Arms are straight. I want you to notice which way your elbow is pointing. So at the moment my elbow is pointing out, so you should be able to see that elbow joint there, but we want to turn the elbows to face down so that the eye of your elbow, this inside part, is facing towards the fingertips as much as we can, at least anyways. So once we've tried to adjust the elbows there, keep them there, drop the head and chest back down between the arms. You'll find it quite challenging to stay there because it opens the shoulder blades up in a different way. Alright, we won't be here for long. Do your best to stay there. Do what you like, whether it's stillness or moving. Add in your own little freestyle. Keep pushing into the fingertips here as well. We don't want to get sore palms or wrists. Okay, we're going to make our way to the top in a forward fold. So look towards your fingertips. Inhale onto both tippy toes and take one or several steps towards the top of the mat, meeting with our knees bent, and we're hanging the chest down, hands reaching down towards the ground, tuck the chin. Now if you can't reach the ground, not a worry, just dangle them there. However, if you can reach the ground, you might like to come into ragdoll, which is holding onto opposite elbows there. So find some length in the spine and exhale, tuck the chin, so that you're looking towards your knees. Notice your balance in the feet. Your feet are close together here. Knees are quite bent. Take a moment reflecting on this pose. How does it feel? Where do you feel the stretch? We're going to rise up into a halfway lift in a moment. Before we do that, allow the hands to drop down, whether it's dangling or reaching towards the mat. From there then, inhale to a halfway lift. So what that means is we want to bring the hands, slide them along the top of the feet or shins, straighten the legs out, straighten the arms out, and also straighten the back out. So if the back is rounding like this, we're not going to get any benefit from the hamstrings and the lower back here. So keep the legs straight, but think of poking your bum out. Really flaunt that booty, alright? So really straighten out the back, lift the chest and shoulders up. And this is our beautiful halfway lift. This takes practice. Exhale, fold. You can bend the knees here, reach for the ground. If you can touch it, great. If not, don't worry. Inhale, halfway lift again. Slide the hands up towards the shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. The more flexible you are, the lower your hands are going to be on your shins here too. So long as we're not getting that little back bend, we're not worried about touching the toes as such here. Exhale, fold back down. And we're going to rise all the way up to stand. Keep the knees soft. Inhale, rise up. Brace the core. Taking a nice big reach out wide once we come up all the way. Hands exhale down through heart center. Take a moment there. Find your balance. Alright, we're going to come into a balanced posture now. So stay where you are. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see the angles. So from here, we're still at the top of the mat. You've got your feet together. We're going to come into a nice little tree pose. So first of all, bring your right knee up in front of you. Find your balance. Alright, so your right knee is up, mirroring me. Grip your toes on that left foot. If you're already wobbly, you might like to bring your arms out. Maybe rest a pinky or something, finger on something if you have to. Avoid that if you can. Now we're going to open that right knee out wide and place it on your shin or the inner edge of your calf there. Hold and find your balance. Beautiful. Work through that balance. Remaining there, but really squeeze your glutes and open that right knee as much as you can. So it might be in front of you quite a bit, and we're not going to get much hip opener here. That's the purpose of this pose. Open up through the hips. Inhale, lengthen through the chest. Shoulders down and back. If this is really challenging for you, ground the toes and rest the heel on the ankle. Just as good, a little bit easier though. Take one last breath where you are. Let it go. And come back with the feet together at the top of the mat. Lovely. Take a breath. Inhale, wide reach. Exhale the hands down through heart center. Ready for the other side. Ground the right foot. Inhale your right knee up in front of you. Find your balance first. And once you've got that balance, open your left knee out wide and just place the foot on your shin for me. So you might naturally want to bring it to the knee. You can place it there, but don't push pressure on it because the knee does not like that pressure on that angle. Squeeze both glutes, and that glutes, just to clarify, are your bum cheeks. I mention them a lot in our practice. Draw the belly in, lengthen through the spine. Open the knees and hips on that left side. Hold it, but don't hold the breath. Breathe through this hold. You've got this. Balance is something we should all try and master, no matter our age. One more breath here. And bring it back, both feet together. We're going to step to the top of the mat again. All right, so hands are still in prayer pose, but let's take another wide reach. Inhale, big reach. You might even take a slight back bend when you do that. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, bring your right knee up to your chest. And then exhale, take a big step back, ground that foot completely and turn the heel down and toes out. So my toes are going to be pointing towards the long edge of my mat there. With the arms then sweep them out to warrior two. Hands are shoulder height, your left hand's in front, right hand is behind. Look down at your left knee. We want to lunge into that left knee, but not over the ankle. If that happens, you need to take a bigger step. Before we take it any further though, bring the hands to the hips. We want to squeeze the glutes and get rid of any excess lower back tilt there. So drawing that in, sweeping the arms out again and holding that warrior two. It's a very strengthening pose. This is very common asana in yoga practice in many different styles, whether it be Ashtanga, Vinyasa, Hatha. These are all different variations of yoga practices. And what we're doing today is a Hatha, which is generally where we hold a pose for about 1 to 2 minutes. Great for beginner to intermediates, really. But I love this practice, no matter how advanced you can be. All right, inhale, we're going to straighten out the legs. Turn your left toes inwards so that we're facing both of the long edge. Exhale the hands to the hips. With the hands at the hips there, we want to hinge from the hips as much as we can. Keep the legs as straight as possible, folding as much as you can until you reach your limit. Now if you need to, feel free to bend through the knees here a little bit, but try your best not to. So right now we're in this wide forward fold. Your hands are at your hips. If this feels okay, stay there. If you think you can reach the ground, by all means reach both hands down towards the mat there. Folding into as much as you can. If your hands are on the ground, not using them to take the weight off of the legs though, they're just there for support. Allow yourself to fold and surrender. Really good for the hamstrings, good for the inner thighs. Welcoming in some long, slow breath. Let's take one more breath here. Bending through the knees, just gently brace your core and glutes, roll up to stand. Take a nice big wide reach at the top. Exhale the hands down through the heart center. And we're going to turn back to the top of the mat, step both feet together at the top. Once you're at the top there, take a breath, find your balance, find your mountain pose, Tadasana. And we're going to take another arm reach. Inhale, sweep the arms wide and high. Exhale the hands down through heart center. Inhale your left knee up this time, take it in. Draw the belly in and exhale, ground that left foot, big step back, turn the toes out to that, face that long edge of your mat. Sweep the arms out shoulder height, hold them there. Bend into that right knee. Remember, we want to have that foot aligned under the knee. If the knee's rolling in, it means we're not using the glutes enough, so squeeze the glutes, lunging into that front right leg. Back left leg is straight. Look over your right fingertips. Draw the belly in. Remember, we're trying to get rid of that lower back curve. Tuck it in. Breathe. Drop the shoulders a little. Over time, maybe lunging into it a little bit lower. Find several breaths here. Notice where you feel this pose stretching and opening the body. Or is it challenging you? Maybe it's the shoulders and the arms, and also the legs. Maybe you're finding it hard to keep that belly drawn in for posture. And take your last breath here. Inhale, straighten out both legs. This time I'm going to face the other edge of the mat, so turn both toes to the long edge. Exhale the hands to the hips and hinge from your hips into a wide forward fold again. Gazing down between your legs. Hi. Option to bring the hands down to the mat. Feel free to keep the legs straight here if that's okay. You do want to keep the toes slightly pointed in here, so maybe shorten the step a little if you need to. Keeping weight in the big toes as well as the heels. Find a comfortable balance here. We don't want to be in pain, just slightly uncomfortable so that we can feel that intensity of the pose. It's up to you to notice that. Stay here for a little while longer. If this is okay and you don't need your hands on the ground or on the hips, you might like to come into a bind with the arms behind your back. So inhale, bring the fingers to interlace and stretch those hands as far up and over your back as you can, keeping the chin tucked, body folding forwards. Only a couple more breaths here. If that doesn't feel great, remember, come back to where you were before. Alright, release the hands wherever they are, bring them to the mat or the legs. Inhale, bend through the knees, rise up with the chest all the way to stand again. Then turn that right foot back to the top edge of your mat, and we're going to sweep all the way down into a downward facing dog. So you can come down however you like, ground the hands, step it back to downward facing dog, and I will meet you there. So do whatever you like here, whether it's that freestyle with legs, maybe it's stillness. Have a look up to those elbows, make sure those eyes of the elbows are really trying to point in towards one another or even further towards the ceiling. Take one last breath here. When you're ready, next inhale, rise onto the tippy toes, lower the knees slowly to the mat. Once the knees do get to the mat, untuck your toes, bring the toes to touch, sink it back for another child's pose. So walk the hands back as needed, sink it down. We're actually going to bring your hands all the way by your sides to rest those arms. They've worked hard. So allow the elbows to relax, the head to rest, hips to be nice and low on the heels. If you need support here with the head, stack your hands in fists and rest your head on your fists like that. Find your pose here now. Enjoy some long, mindful breath. Beautiful restorative child's pose. Take one more breath now. Bring the hands back either side of your knees and rise up nice and slowly. Beautiful. All right, we're going to come down onto the belly. So bring your hands out in front of you. You perhaps might like to do a little push-up release. Let's do a little mini chaturanga. So that's just a little yoga push-up. Hands about shoulder width apart. Inhale, drop the hips so we're in a kneeling plank. So your hands are directly under your shoulders, maybe even a little further behind. So knees are down here. Allow your core to really brace. Come down as controlled as you can and rest fully down. You do want your head to be on the mat here, so make sure you do a little worm down if you need to. And from there, left hand out, shoulder height. Left cheek down. Bend your right knee. With that right knee, open it up off the mat and behind you, reaching for that foot towards the ground. Remember, if it's too much, maybe just bring both knees up into the chest. I quite like bending that bottom left knee, but then opening up that right knee. So see what that feels like for you. Find yourself comfortable, make any little adjustments needed. Your right hand is still pushing into the mat, so if you're just resting it down, you're losing a lot of the pose. So bring that right hand into the mat, open through the chest. Close the eyes if you wish. And enjoy getting a nice, big, open heart feeling. Maybe bring a little smile to the face. Just a couple more breaths. See if you can bring some mindfulness in there. And then when you're ready, bring both knees back together. Straighten out the legs as you come back onto the belly. Wonderful. Bring both hands in nice and gently. And from there, keep your left hand where it is, but straighten out your right hand about shoulder height here. From there, you're going to rest your right cheek down to the mat. Bend through your left knee and open that left knee wide and far behind you. The idea is to try and ground that foot behind you, whether it's just the toes, the whole foot, and so forth. Now, if you're just hanging there and it feels okay, feel free to stay there. We won't be here for too long, but enough to be mindful of where you feel it. Everyone will feel this slightly differently, whether it be in the chest through the front right shoulder area. Might feel it in the shoulder joint more. Be mindful if that's the case. Maybe you feel it running down the arm in your bicep muscles. Where do you feel this pose? And from here, take another breath. Bring your left knee back if it's not. And we're going to straighten both legs out, come back onto the belly. To bring that both hands right in next to the chest where they are. Untuck your toes. Tuck the elbows right in. So we want to tuck the elbows in, drop the shoulders down, and look down towards your mat here. Fingers are spread out wide, as always. Inhale, push into the hands, but also squeeze the glutes and lower back to lift the chest up a little bit. Exhale, back down. Nose to mat. Soften through the back. Inhale, brace everything again. Push into the hands gently. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, one more. And exhale, lower down. Bring your hands, one hand on top of the other, rest your head. This is our resting position. Well, we're going to come into a flying locust, really strengthen the back. So that was just a little warm up, the little baby cobra. Let's get ready to fly it out. Inhale, lift the chest up. As we lift the chest, point the toes, lift the legs. Fly the elbows back and really try and squeeze your elbows close to your ribs. Exhale, as you lower down, rest your other cheek to your hands. Inhale, rise up the head, chest, legs. Tuck those elbows in and back behind. Lower back down, exhale there. Keep going at your own pace or feel free to follow me. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Remember, switch cheeks. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. One more to go. Inhale, rise. Hold it there. Breathe. And exhale, lower. Good job. Take a moment here. Notice the back, the legs, the shoulders, the arms. And lifting the head. Let's bring the hands either side of the chest. Excuse me. Tuck the toes under. We're going to push all the way up into tabletop. So try and do a push up if you can. Otherwise, a little cobra roll up is fine. Brace the tummy, push up. Bring the knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Tabletop. So from here, let's come into a seated pose. There's many ways you can do this. Depending on your flexibility and your knees and hips and all that, you can come into it in a little bit of a cross-legged position. So I bring my right knee up and foot across, and then I bring my left foot across, knee up, and I roll back down like that. Now if that is not doable, you just get there however you could get there, alrighty? So let's come into a straight-legged position. Feet are still on your mat at the moment, and bring the arms out nice and long. Draw the belly in, inhale, lengthen tall. We're going to exhale and reach towards the toes, but don't worry if you can't actually reach them. So we don't want to lean through the back here. Think of pivoting through the hips. So adjust your hips as necessary. Reach the arms out long. Inhale, sit up tall. Option to take a little recline here. That's all inhaling. Exhale, reach forwards. Keep reaching, really reach. Inhale, come up. Exhale, recline. No, wait, I'll take it back. Keep inhaling. Exhale, reach forwards. Inhale, recline. Exhale, reach. Inhale, sit up tall and shimmy your way so that your heels are just over the end of your mat. Try not to use your hands here. It's a good little way to loosen up the back there. Inhale, lengthen. This time we will exhale to come down. Use your core strength. Try not to collapse. If you do, don't worry. And then once you get there, hug the knees into the chest and we'll meet in our little knee to chest pose, also known as wind relieving pose. If you have a little gas and you need to let it out, this is a pride pose. So, on that note, we'll move on. Inhale, lengthen your left leg up to the ceiling. So straighten it out as much as you can. We'll bring it even closer towards your face to start off with. Easiest to hardest. Easiest, hold both hands on that right knee. We're going to lower that left leg down over about 5 seconds. So if you want to challenge yourself, maybe hold your right hand on the right knee, left hand comes by your side. If you want even harder, both hands can go under your bum a little bit, or even harder, hands just by your sides. It is quite a tricky one. So let's see how we go. Inhale, breathe in, prepare. Exhale, lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest the heel down. Bring your left hand onto that right knee. Right arm comes out wide. Roll it over all the way as far as you go here into a spinal twist. Now if you just get onto that bum cheek and stop there, I encourage you, let go of the hand and knee, shimmy over onto that side hip rather, and then just see how far you can sink into it. Don't bring ego into it, I don't want you to hurt yourself, but we want to encourage a whole spinal twist, not just a little glute stretch here, okay? So do your best. Look over to your right shoulder, close off the eyes if you like, and hang out here for a little bit. Notice how it feels. Walking in space. Take one more breath on this side. It's important to brace your core first, so brace everything and then roll it back, hug both knees into the chest. straighten out the spine. So let's come to the other side. We're going to do the exact same thing. Inhale, right leg, straighten it out to the ceiling. Option to hold both one or no hands to that knee. Breathe in to prepare again. Exhale over 5 seconds, lower the right leg down. 4, 3, 2, 1. And ground that right heel down. Right hand onto the left knee. Remember, roll over onto that glute, or not glute, the hip rather, and bring that knee as far over to the right side as it does. Bring that left arm out to the left side, shoulder height, look over to it. It's really important we keep looking to our side, that we're not bringing that knee to opposite sides here. Getting a spinal twist through the entire torso. Enjoy some few quiet moments here. Allow yourself to rest. One more breath here. When you're ready, roll it back by bracing the core. Hug both knees back into the chest, however you can get there, comfortably and safely. And do what feels good, whether it's rocking the knees from side to side, maybe it's knee circles or separate knee circles. We're going to do one more pose before we come into our meditation. So find stillness, widen your knees, and we're going to reach for our hands to our feet. Now if you can't reach your feet, do lift your head and shoulders up so you can try and reach. Hold on to your shins or ankles wherever you can. Feet is ideal here though. Keep the soles of the feet together, rest the head and shoulders back down if you can. And the idea here is to squeeze your glutes with your glute muscles and pull your feet down towards your groin. We have a lying butterfly pose. So head and shoulders down if you can, hopefully. Bring the feet nice and close to the hips, squeezing your own glutes out wide here. Won't be here for long, just enough to get a stretch through the inner thighs. Hopefully you can feel that there. One more breath. And mindfully release the feet. Slide them down onto the ground. And then from here, just tuck your tailbone under so there's a little gap, and then lengthen your legs out long, getting ready for our meditation. So in the meditations, we want to have our feet about hip width apart on the mat. Have a look down if you need to. If this doesn't feel good, you might like to get a pillow and pop it under your knees. If you don't have that, maybe just bend the knees up and roll the knees in together. This is only if it doesn't feel good for your back. So otherwise, legs out long. Roll the ankles out. Tuck the shoulder blades behind you so the neck is long and free. Get comfortable. If you need any blankets or socks or anything at all, maybe an eye pillow, do what you gotta do. Otherwise, no props are essential. Take a breath in through the nose and sigh out. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more for me now. Make sure you do it. Allow yourself to rest. Let your body be still. Arms be heavy. jaw to be relaxed. Let yourself be free in this very moment. Free of worry, free of thought, free of anywhere to be but here, right now. Notice where you lie. Know that this is an asana as well, a pose. I'll leave you here in silence for a few moments now, potentially a few minutes actually. So do your best to remain calm in the mind. Anytime you get distracted, and especially if it keeps on happening, which is likely, you might like to bring your hands to your belly. Place them wherever is comfortable. And anytime a thought arises, notice your hands on the belly. Breathe in that awareness of everything. And sigh it away. And come back to a natural breath rhythm. Thinking only of the breath. And repeating that cycle if needed. For now though, remain still and present. And enjoy. So you hear the sound of the singing bowl. Tune into where you are. Exactly how you're lying. How you got here. Notice how you feel in this very moment. Notice where your fingers and toes are. Start to bring little bits of movement into them. When that little bit starts to move, the rest of the body feels that chain reaction. So that the ankles and wrists start to roll about. From there, then bring your feet closer together using your core strength to do so. Point the toes and reach over your head. You might like to interlace the fingers, push the hands away, lift the back, squeeze the glutes, do whatever feels good. And bring the arms back, reaching the knees into the chest. Being mindful of moving slow and gentle. Roll over onto your right hand side then, into that fetal position. You can rest your arm under your head as a pillow if that feels nice, or keep hugging the knees into the chest. You do you. And from here we're going to rise up into a seated position, back on our mats. If you have an essential oil here now, grab that and we're going to apply that onto our hands. So I have a little Peace essential oil here today. Mine's a doTERRA one, but whatever you've got is going to be wonderful, I'm sure. Just make sure that it is diluted with some coconut oil or some sort of liquid oil, alrighty? So I'm just rolling it into my hand. Put the lid back on so it doesn't leak. And rub those hands together. So what that does is spread it to both hands, onto the palms. And we're going to take 3 big breaths here. So as we normally do in my in-person yoga classes, we're going to breathe in and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth rather. 3 big breaths like that. And you can move your hands to your face and chest as needed if you've got the essential oil. All right, well, let's begin. Close the eyes. Hands to the face, breathe in deeply. Hands to the heart, side out. Again, breathe in, longer and slower. Let it go. Please make sure you side out, don't hold it in. Now's your chance to let it go. Last breath. Let it all go. Feel a sense of relief, release. With your hands in prayer pose, bring your thumbs and rest them at your third eye, which is in between your eyebrows on the forehead. With my thumbs at my third eye, my thoughts are pure and clear. With my thumbs to my lips, my speech is pure and clear. With my thumbs to my chest, my heart is pure and clear. Take a moment now of gratitude. I'd love you to find one thing to be grateful for today. Always affirm the words, silently or aloud, I am grateful for whatever it is. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. Namaste. I hope you feel wonderful, my friends. That practice was focusing on asanas, really getting those postures right. Next week is going to be on breath and working with the breath and the poses. So stay tuned for that. However, I've got a little bonus video for you that you can do later on this week if you wish. So see that attached, and I will see you very soon. Bye.